Assalamualaikum and good day to Dr. Abdullah. My name is Uni Sharimi binti Suhaimi alongside my other team members Nur Akila binti Zaidi, Nur Farahani binti Cik Ahmad and Nur Najwa Batrisha binti Saharuddin. We will be presenting the result of our project work. So the first one, I'm going to explain about the task composition and also the skills or sub-skills that we tested. So the main purpose of our assessment is to test students' level of proficiency for reading skills. And the main skill that we tested was reading, while the sub-skills that we tested was writing. So there are 5 operations altogether. The first one, the student need to skim and scan the given text to search for the answer. Second, they need to rephrase the idea to answer the question by using their own words. And third, they need to recognize the main idea or specific information to answer the question. Next, the student also need to understand the text implicit and also hidden meaning. And lastly, they need to understand a wide range of vocabulary by making appropriate answer choices based on the information given. And next, the type of text. There are 3 types of text altogether. We have 4 texts. The first one is the narrative text. The second text use the news item text. And the third and fourth text use the same type, which is informative text. Next is for the address of the test. The main purpose of this test is to re-evaluate the students' reading skill proficiency post their MUET test, and the result gained from this pilot test can help us to identify which part of reading skills that majority of the students need to improvise, and also with the hope to help enhance the reading courses offered in UTM, as reading skills is one of the vital skills that all undergraduate students need to master. So for the length of text, all 4 texts has not more than 800 words. And next, I'm going to explain about the text team. So we have 3 different teams. Text 1 use the humanity team, text 2 is occupation team, and lastly for text 3rd and 4th use the culture teams. Also, for the readability and vocabulary, the readability and vocabulary levels for this test were embedded at CIFA level C1. We gained this result from running all the text that we use into a CIFA level generator, in which it helps us to determine the types of vocabulary that used in the text is on which CIFA level. Next, I'm going to explain about the text structure that include the type of text used, the number of passages, the number of items, medium, technique, and also the suggested answering time. So the similarities between all of these texts that it has 5 items, which is 5 questions, and the medium that we use for all texts is Google Form, and also the suggested answering time for all texts was 10 minutes. So for text 1, the type of text is narrative text and it has 8 paragraphs. And for this text, we use information transfer technique. And for text 2, the type is news item text and it has 3 paragraphs, and also we use true-false technique for this for the second text. While for text 3 and 4, it is of the same type, which is informative text. Text 3 consists of 9 paragraphs, and the technique used was MCQ, which is multiple choice questions. For text 4, it has 4 paragraphs, and also was using the same technique, which is MCQ, multiple choice questions. Lastly, I'm going to explain about the last section of task composition, which is the scoring procedure. Each question will be awarded with 1 mark, and there are a total of 20 questions. So the student need to answer at least 16 questions correctly in order to obtain grade A. Those who obtain grade B, C, and D were considered to pass the test, and they need to answer at least 8 questions correctly. And student who get grade E is considered to fail the test. And the grading system is as shown in the screen. 80 to 100% range is for grade A, 65 to 79% is for grade B, 50 to 64% is for grade C, 40 to 49% is for grade D, and lastly 0 to 39% is for grade E, which is the failing grade.
Now I will explain about the background of the test takers. The test was conducted among the final year test students in UTM. A total of 16 students involved in this test, including male and female students. Most of the students got band 4 in their math, and there are also students who got band 5. Therefore, their CEFR level is at B2 and also C1. Therefore, in this test, we aim to identify a group of test takers with similar English language proficiency in order to ensure the results from the test conducted are valid and fair.
So there are a total of 9 procedures involved in the construction of the test. So the first procedure is problem diagnosis. In this step, we identify what kind of problems that the students face when learning English, and we also would like to determine what kind of test type that are suitable to address the problem. And the second procedure is the purpose of test. The purpose of the test is to examine the students' reading proficiency level when reading different English text types. And the kind of test that we would like to use is the criterion reference test. And the third procedure is the reading operations identifications. So in this test, before we develop the item, we identify the types of reading operations that we would like to use. The fourth procedure is the text selection. So in selecting the text, it is crucial for us to have wide variations to ensure that the results produced have high reliability. The fifth step is developing items of test. So in this test, we develop items that have high validity and reliability. So the sixth step is determine test scoring. So in this step we determine what kind of method can be used to score the items. So items are scored using subjective and objective tests. And the seventh step is the test administration. The pilot test is administered on 16 TESOL students, and it is distributed in Google Form. And there are 40 minutes time allocation given to complete the test. The eighth step is the analysis of test scoring. In this procedure, we would like to identify which items is difficult for the students to answer and which items that needs to be improvised, revised, or to be removed. And the last step is benchmark score establishment. In this procedure, we would like to establish the benchmark score for the students to grade A and for the students to pass the test. So in constructing this test, there are a few steps that we take to ensure that the test has high validity. So there are three steps. So the first step is that we prepare a test specification to confirm that the items are measuring the students' reading proficiency. So the test writers check whether the items are related closely or not with the students' reading proficiency level. And if the test items are not suitable with the reading proficiency level, then the test writers will remove the items and replace it with more suitable items. So through these steps, we achieve content validity for the test. And the next one is we use this test to measure the students' ability in using the reading operations when reading a text. So there are, across the text that is prepared in the test, there are various reading operations that we use, such as scanning, skimming, and inferring meaning. And therefore, through these steps, we achieve criterion-related validity. And lastly, we conduct a pilot study on the reading comprehension test to check if the items are relevant or not. We found that the students did not have any problems in comprehending the test. Therefore, we conclude that we achieve high face validity in the test.
Next, I will explain about the reliability of the test. In order to ensure that the reliability of the test is high, the items that we created measure the same thing, which is the consistency of students' responses across the items with different testing types. In order to measure the reading skills among the test taker, we use the tags that's suitable for them with their CEFR levels. And the test consists of 4 tags with 20 items, and each item having a value of 1 mark. There are 3 different types of tags: narrative text, news item text, and informative text. For the first tag, we employ subjective testing, where the item's format is in information transfer type. The students, they need to transfer materials from the text to the spaces given. The item The type of item is reliable because it resembles real-life activities and reduces guessing as well as copying, as the students they really need to comprehend the text to be able to find the correct answer. Other than that, we also use objective testing type in this text, as the answers are fixed, which means that there will be no bias within the scoring judgment to achieve scoring reliability. The result indicate that the students perform well on true, false, and information transfer items, but they score poorly on multiple choice items because of the difficulty of the text. And according to the items answered on the Google form, most of the students commonly answer incorrect answer to the same items, which number 8, 10, 11, 13, and also 15. As a result, it shows that the test has a high reliability level since the student scores on different items are consistent. In addition, we administered the test in a controlled environment using the same platform, which is Google Form, among the fourth-year TESOL students. This ensures that the reliability is high since the students enroll in the same course and they even had the same educational background in English language for the past 4 years.
Hello again, Doctor. So this time, I'm going to explain about the basic statistical analysis of the student's performance. And as shown on the screen, it was the table that summarized the grade that, obtained by the student for this test. So the table recorded the marks obtained by the test takers, and from the total of 16 participants, we can see that majority of the students scored grade B and C. However, no student managed to obtain grade A. We have 9 students who obtained grade B, 5 students who obtained grade C, and 2 students who obtained grade D. And luckily, no one failed this test as no one obtained grade E. The minimum condition set for this test to be considered pass is to get at least grade C. And from this, we can conclude that all 16 students managed to pass the test.
The item difficulty index is used to determine the level of difficulty for each test items. According to the range scale of the index by Farhani and Nugraha, 2018, an item's level of item difficulty affects whether it is thought of as tricky, with a range number of 0 until 0.3, or moderate 0.31 until 0.7, or easy 0.71 until 1. From the reading tests administered, in general, 25% of the test items are difficult, another 25% are moderate, while the rest, 50%, are accessible. As for the discrimination index for the reading test administered, as a whole, 50% of the test items have satisfactory discrimination level, while the rest 45% and 40% respectively of the test items are discriminating and moderately discriminating, which require minor revision. These numbers shows that the test is valid with minor revisions. In a nutshell, our overall best question is question number 2, which had a low difficulty level and displayed excellent discrimination with a 0.81 discrimination index.